everyone. My name is Daphne. I saw only like 1 or 2 people use Atome in the room, is that right? Well, I hope you go back and check it out after I do my presentation today and be part of our 1.5 million users that we've managed to attract in Malaysia over the last 2 years. So I thought I'd start with this, just to show you one of our celebrity global ambassadors that we had. So this K-pop band is called Astro. They have about 4 million followers on Instagram, and what we do at Atome to grow our brand is we have a full funnel marketing strategy, and I'm going to talk you through that today. This slide here is just to show you that I'm not a random person. I have done some things in my life, so let me share a bit about my background. My first job was in Australia. I actually started in the MarTech space with a company that's now part of Oracle's Marketing Cloud, so I've been doing this for a while. Then I spent a few years in the media and entertainment space where my heart really lives. I spent about 5 years with Astro, and then I joined Meta in Malaysia, so I was the country marketing manager responsible for Facebook's B2B business in the country. And in February 14th, 2022, I joined Atome, and that's when my love affair really started. Atome stands for Available to Me. That's how you can remember how to pronounce Atome. We're a buy now, pay later. So what we do is we help our users split their bill into 3 equal payments at 0% interest. We are part of a larger group called Advanced Intelligence Group. AIG, they do cybersecurity and eKYC, so we leverage their risk engine, and buy now pay later is all about that, right? Yeah. So here you can see, these are some of the markets that we are in. Singapore is our HQ, and we are available in 6 other markets, and these are just some of our investors. These are some of our key milestones last year. So we launched in August 2022. So really, we started that trajectory in 2021, and over the last couple of years, we have managed to, as I mentioned earlier, attract about 1.5 million registered users. We have about 600,000 MAUs every month. Year on year, 21 to 22, we saw about a 4x annual GMV growth. 4 in 5 of our users are Gen Z and millennials, so we know we have to be on trend with everything that we go out to them with. And we have over 6,500 retail partners. So as an app business, it's very important for us to create this seamless user experience to reduce the friction at every point, just like what Saurabh said, right? So we must really understand who our users are, what's important to them so that we can add value. And having a strong app rating in both the app stores, and we're also in Huawei as well, is important for us. These are our top 3 categories, so fashion and beauty that makes sense to our user base, and electronics and lifestyle. What kind of retail partners do we work with? So these are some of our retail partners right here in Malaysia. So if you shop on Zalora, you can split your bill. If you want to buy, so my brother is in the audience and his birthday's coming up. He asked me to buy him a Apple charger. So we can go to machines, you can go to Switch, you can split your bill into 3. And what we want to do is the BNPL value proposition is really helping our merchant partners increase their average basket size. Right? So, and then help our users to increase their cash flow. At the same time, we want to be ubiquitous and to drive the continuous usage of our service. We do things like partner with Watsons, with mining. Recently, if you're a music lover, you would have seen that Good Vibes Music Festival. We are also the buy now pay later partner for that. Today, Muse tickets went live. You can buy your Muse tickets using Atome as well, so that's very exciting for us. So how do we grow Atome? This is what I wanted to share. So here it's just very rough. First, we map the customer life cycle, the funnel. We go broad all the way down to the community building. So we've got awareness here where we drive, because the BNPL product, when we first launched, was quite new in terms for the market. So we need to drive the awareness and the value proposition. So we do broad, out of home, and then we make sure to be where our users are, so within malls as well, and we leverage a lot of influencers, as you can see, celebrities earlier. Then we have an internal performance marketing team where we really push our acquisition. Some of the metrics we look at is our CPI and again all the way down to our CPV, so our cost per conversion. This is just an example of a Apple search ad that we run, and we go both online and offline. So over here you will see that is just a cart that we had at Home Depot in Penang and KL. So once we've driven the awareness, you kind of know, like today you hear there's this thing called Atome. Hopefully you go back and you install the app and you check it out, you register. We want to then drive this relationship path. The browsing, all the way to the purchase, and then the loyalty. And there's a little box there to show that it is a loop, because you want to drive the repeat as well. And the framework for me, when I think about driving value to our user base, is right audience, right message, right time. And that is what we use MoEngage for, essentially. This one I just wanted to show, this is what a sample marketing plan for us looks like in a year. We have a few different streams. We definitely have new product features that are launched. We have platform campaigns that we run, dedicated merchant partnership campaigns. For instance, if we ran a campaign with Zalora, and then we have what we bucket under others. And for every single thing that we do, we overlay that across our funnel, and we think about our channel strategy and how we then inject MoEngage into that to communicate with our existing user base. So how do we leverage MoEngage? Again, so looking at the right audience, and Saurabh really covered all of this, so I don't have to go too much into detail, but definitely segmenting into relevant cohorts. We do use RFM. I am glad I don't have to be the one to stand here to explain what RFM is, because for me, when I look at it, I look at the end product. It's my growth and my business intelligence team that really map that out for me. And then once we have a look at that, we can decide what kind of messaging we want to communicate with our different RFM segments. We also do customer purchase history mapping. So for instance, we have our different categories, right? If someone bought an electronics product, they are more likely to buy from that category again, but then at the same time, we may try and push some lifestyle product or beauty, depending on different user attributes, to see whether there's cross-brand usage. So for me, the data informs the decision. That's I guess a new jargony thing, right? We always say data-driven decisions. I like to call it data-informed, because I still like to use a bit of gut when I make my marketing decisions. So once we have the right audience, we know that we're going to speak to this group of people. We then need to think about the right message. That again is very important for us at Atome. We think about how we're going to say what we say. We've tested things like dynamic content based on user attributes. So I'll give you an example. We did a Girl Power Month last year. We're running it again this year. So that's for International Women's Day. And if you think about the types of brands that we would then share with our user base, for a female user versus a male, it could be very different. So for female, we could push a Zalora, a Sasa, a Fresh. For male, we could push Gamers Hideout, Machines, TT Racing. So we've tested things like that as well to see what works best. Then we do historical search-based targeting. So this is intentional. One is you have taken an action to purchase within a certain category. Another one is you're discovering, you're browsing. I'm searching for something, but I haven't taken the action. So we take that as well, and then we test to see whether what brands, what offers, what messaging works to get people to convert, to achieve our goal. And then of course, personalized offers and discounts. Right audience, right message. Now, when do we send it? What is the right time? So here what I wanted to mention is that MoEngage has something called streams. that we use to export into our data visualization tool at Atome called Tableau. And based on that, I was chatting with my team that executes, and one of the things that really moved the needle for us was understanding when people engage with our apps the most. And we saw a peak at a certain time at night. And once we started to do pushes around that time, we saw click-through rate and engagement spike. So it's really about understanding how the users are using the app and using this framework. Sarab showed some sample flows within the product itself, but I thought since I'm here talking to other fellow marketers, maybe I'll show you what a sample Atome user flow on MoEngage looks like. This is our registration user flow. What is our goal? Want to drive that first purchase. And the channels that we're using in here, simple, email and push. So the entry point is someone registering. Even before that, we actually take a look at the different funnels. For instance, if someone installs or registers via offline versus online versus a paid ad versus organic, they have different user behavior as well. And we look at things like LTV, lifetime value, and we target accordingly as well. But for this visualization, I'm just going to show you very simply, someone registers, what happens? On day 0, the moment you register, when you are the most engaged, the warmest lead, we send you a push notification and an EDM. A welcome EDM, very simple. I think I've got a sample after this as well. If you still haven't made a purchase by day 2, we send you another push. Hey, don't forget, you've got a 15 ringgit voucher waiting for you. Day 3, no conversion, an EDM, and so on and so forth. Until day 7, then we take a cooling off period, and during day 30, we send just a final reminder. If someone hasn't made a purchase by then, in a way, we kind of put them on cold storage and we run occasional recall campaigns, and that's where we will then try to re-engage them. At the same time, we do run our weekly local campaign comms that kind of overlay across this welcome journey. So we do cap comms frequency on a user level, just to ensure that we are not spamming our users. Yeah. This is what our EDMs look like, just very quickly, very basic. The language changes a little bit. Our intention is always to get someone to make that first purchase and browse and explore within the app. When it comes to push notifications, I wanted to share this with you because at Atome, we don't just push the deal, which is sometimes what you tend to see. We craft our content very thoughtfully across all our channels, right? Check out our Instagram page if you like as well. So we know that we have 5 content pillars. So every time we write content, we try and tie it back to one of these pillars to ensure that we are on brand. Then here are just some samples. So I will give you one, right? So not just pushing the deal. Fashion and sportswear. Hustle for that muscle. Glam it up at the gym with the latest activewear, drops, work it, right? So we know that our audience, being Gen Z and millennial, the deal is important, but sometimes connecting with them as on that more personal level is more important. So after we do all these things, like what has that meant for our business? Just going to share some stats here. So in Q4 last year, we had a 7% email conversion rate and a 12% push click-through rate. The MoEngage team shared with me that actually the industry benchmark for these 2 metrics is 5% for the fintech space. So we were very happy to learn that. For email open rate as well, 40% versus the 20% industry benchmark. And like I mentioned, we do run reactivation campaigns and we track the conversion rate off of that. We managed to achieve a 3%, which would have been a 0 had we not run anything. I'm done. I hope that was interesting. Godin, who is a marketing guru. Most of you would have heard of him. Don't find customers for your product, find products for your customers. And here, finding products for your customers doesn't necessarily need to mean products per se. It can be an event that you're running, any comms. So when I plan my marketing, I always think about hyper-relevancy and driving value, right? And MoEngage has allowed me to do that with my database. Thank you.